Casual sex in our community. You know, when you look at in these social media spaces, man, it's funny, man. This thing is like our community is in so much pain, and nobody wants to really deal with accountability for anything, because that would means that you have to admit that you did something wrong. And the first part of fixing the problems in our community is admitting that we actually do things wrong, or maybe we was taught wrong, we was raised wrong, so we actually behave in manners that's unbecoming to being raised in a successful community. Now, I want to talk about sex and this sex thing in our communities. I had a conversation with my son about having sex. He's 14. My niece had a conversation with her daughter about having sex. So me and my sister, we all sat down, and my niece, one of my older nieces, we sat down and we were having a conversation. And me and my sister, I was talking about when I was in school back in the day, as a young guy, 14, 15, 16, and you get to the age where you start experimenting with sex, right? Because remember, casual sex is normalized in the black community. Casual sex is passed down. We having sex at 14, 15, 16 years old. Girls getting pregnant at 15, 16. That was damn near like the norm in high school, right? Because everybody was having sex. It may not have been promoted as much 30 years ago, but it was happening nonetheless, everywhere. Now it's promoted with no shame, but I'll get to that a little later in the video. What the dynamics of what was going on back then, and I want people to listen to me. Listen to me with your mind, not your emotions, because I'm teaching here. A lot of young girls had access to sex 1,000 times more than young boys. Young boys were lucky to get sex, unless he was like an athlete, some type of jock, a pretty boy, or he was tall and handsome. Other than that, you wasn't really getting no sex. You had access to no sex. Girls wasn't checking for you at all, right? You had to be a jock, some type of pretty boy, and some type of music, or doing something that people would want to be a part of. Other than that, you wasn't getting sex. Young girls had access to older men that would come to the schools in their cars and pick these girls up. So girls in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade was banging guys 19 to 30. We would be 14, we'd be 15, 16 years old, sitting outside the schools with the girls, and next thing you know, a Act Legend coupe pull up, a BMW 850 pull up, a Benz with AMG kit pull up. She jump in the car. So why are you saying this, George? The young girl was having sex with older guys because a girl could always had the opportunity, the sexual opportunities. She always had the opportunities to have sex. And a lot of these girls was accumulating STDs, and they were coming back and having sex with us at school. Then those young guys, right, were going and having sex with other young girls, and then it was starting to pass all through the communities. All through the communities. The first time, I remember the first and only time I got burnt, I was 17. I got burnt by an older Spanish girl named Lisa. Burned me, I couldn't believe it. Didn't understand what was going on down there, but I was in school. She was dating older guys. They were coming up in BMWs and Benzes and picking her up, and Lisa was real pretty, and I couldn't wait to get my turn. And she burned me. But a lot of the young girls were dealing with older guys. They had a lot of access. And then those young guys that are athletes, pretty boys, they courted from the girls, and then they go mess with other girls, and then it just runs wild all through the communities, right? See, why am I saying this? This is the stuff that goes on in our communities, right? When you normalize casual sex, when you normalize non-committal sex, you open up the door for our young girls to be exposed to older men and our young boys to run around and just spill everything everywhere. And then you fast forward it some years later to now you get social media, because we didn't have social media back then, where it's widespread. And you see our girls all over social media promoting sex everywhere, looking for a ding-a-ling everywhere. And there's no telling what type of STDs they may have acquired or got from dealing with these older men or strange men from different places. Because women have the ability to get to places that a lot of young boys can't. I need y'all to listen to the big homie. Listen to Uncle George. I'm giving you game. Mothers, single mothers, listen to me. Especially you ones with sons, young sons that got an active pecker. And he's ready. We have to get back in control of this casual sex in our communities, because our young girls are super vulnerable. Super vulnerable. Because they're preyed on first. They're preyed, listen, y'all have to listen. They're preyed on first. Most young boys, unless he fall into a certain category, is not going to have access to sex. He's not getting laid right away. Unless he run into a fresh young girl that just want to do it to him. But these young girls are always being promoted everywhere and over-sexualized, so they over-sexualize themselves. So you have over-sexualization of our youth, STDs running rampant to the point where chlamydia and gonorrhea is like nothing. I got chlamydia, so you run and you go get a shot in the ass, or you take some pills and you just cool. But I had to tell my son, and I tell my daughters and these young girls, you might have sex with an older guy and get something one time, have sex one time, and get something that you can't get rid of. And then that girl, single moms out there, she runs right into your son and has sex. See, because they said, well, George, you should wear condoms, man. But back in the day, man, I wasn't thinking about that, man. I got hard and I just wanted to go get some. That's what happens. You look at social media and you seeing our women all over there. OnlyFans, everything, right? All over the place. And they're being exploited by older men. But these girls that are young, your sons are in the age bracket as them, and then they're going to have sex with your sons after they have sex with these older men. So we have to be we as parents, we need to lobby to these social media sites to put pressure on them to stop our daughters and our sons from exhibiting promiscuous behavior all over this stuff. It shouldn't be normalized. That should be an underground world. You should not be allowed to be on Instagram, TikTok, and all these places just doing all kinds of stuff. We are normalizing sex to our children, and we allowing predators to come in and run all through our daughters. And then our daughters come right back to their group, their age group, and have sex with our sons. So in all actuality, older men is giving your sons STDs through these younger girls. And then your sons are running around and having sex with a bunch of other young girls all through the community, all starting from older men. Because we normalize casual sex. It's okay. We normalize non-committal sex. It's okay. But don't nobody want to talk about this real. This is what's going on. Older guys. A lot of girls back in the day got pregnant by older guys that didn't stay around. And they came back. They came back. They came back and ended up being boyfriends of guys their age with babies from older men. Because we normalize casual sex. We normalize this stuff. Don't nobody want to have the real conversation, though. I will, though. I've been having these real conversations in the community. This is the real talk. This is the real talk that everybody want to get away from, because a lot of you moms is partaking in the same behaviors that your daughters and sons is partaking in. A lot of you dads is partaking in the same behaviors. A lot of you dads is absent. You're not even there to provide protection, direction, and correction, because you and your baby mom had non-committal sex. And then my generation gave birth to this generation, and they emulated the same thing. What makes it worse is they have social media, something that we didn't have back in the day. So now it's broadcast everywhere. Before, it was hush-hush in your community. The hoe was silent in the dark. Now you a proud hoe all over the place. And now young girls are emulating that. These young girls are taking flights out of town and sleep 17, 18, sleeping with guys in all these different places, and they coming back to the hood to have sex with your son. Because she has access to sex that he don't. Because she's a girl. And there's always a predator somewhere looking somewhere to prey on some young girls with them fine young bodies. But all of this stuff comes from normalizing casual sex. That's what it comes from. It comes right off of that branch. It's a branch right off of that tree. Protect your sons and your daughters, mothers, dads. Teach them to keep their legs closed. Keep them older men away. Keep your daughter from straying so many different places. See, because the game is given to you backwards. They say, well, these guys are running around slanging and banging. Listen to me. Most young guys do not have access to sexual sex from girls unless he's in a selective category. He's not getting selected. Most guys will never get a woman in their DM. Most grown men don't even have sex unless they pay for it. He don't. Women always have access to a ding-a-ling. So this is where the double standards come from and why you got to protect the women. Sometimes you got to even protect her from herself. Sometimes. But I'm going to cut this video short, man. I just wanted to drop this game, man. Casual sex part 2. Casual sex in the black community. Normalized sex. Normalized non-committal sex in the black community, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button so these videos can get out, man. Make sure y'all share these videos. Make sure y'all subscribe, man. And listen to the Uncle George, man, when I come and I drop this game. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.